you're interviewing, there's 100 things that have to line up on the employer side, but there's 100 things that have to line up on the person that's interviewing. So it's not just the employer with the power in the situation, it's finding what is actually the perfect match. And so when you're about to give part of your life to someone, you should ask any and all questions. I want to say the number one reason that people stick at a company is that do they have a friend that they're close with? And number two, do they see a path forward? I said respect, but obviously respect is part of it. And so we are really hypocritical with everyone at our organization. We call it critical path. So it's do they, where are they going? Where do they see themselves going? Do they want to go there? And how do we help them get there? So they know that there's a purpose behind every day that when they're coming to work. But you know, if you have the ability to see where you're going, you're going to stay there. If you don't see where you're going, sure, you're going to quit. I get it. But learn in your 20s, make a bunch of mistakes.
Today on Heliona Insight, I'm joined by Scott Havens, partner at Hub International, executive leader and trusted advisor to CEOs, CFOs, and HR executives across the country. Scott's work goes far beyond insurance benefit. He runs 9 executive peer groups, serves on multiple boards, and works side by side with business leaders to navigate everything from talent retention to technology integration. With a career built on fostering executive alignment and creating spaces for peer-to-peer learning, Scott understands what it takes to build organizations where both people and performance thrive. In this conversation, we go behind the boardroom doors to explore how leadership decisions ripple through a company's culture, what benefits programs reveal about an organization's priority, and why retention ultimately comes down to the people making the decisions at the top. So let's get into it. Hello. I apologize for interrupting your listening experience, but this is worth it. Stay with me. On October 15, we are bringing Workplace Unfiltered, a Heliona experience that is the Heliona Life podcast. The top 5 guests, the most listened guests, will be in a roundtable discussion on October 15 at the Abbott in downtown Kansas City. That's the Abbott, ABBOTT. Which is the venue here in Kansas City for the listeners outside of KC. Shout out to Chicago, Iowa, Illinois. Thank you guys for always tuning in. But I want you to picture this. One night with leaders from across the country, HR professionals, mental health providers, and you, the listener, all in the same room for unfiltered conversation about performance and mental health. It's live, it's going to be honest, and yes, you can be part of it. So make sure to RSVP today at heliona.io. That's HELIONA.io. Or you can visit the show notes right now and make sure to RSVP on the event page. We only have a block for 50 people, exclusive to my listeners and LinkedIn followers. We'd love for you guys to show up October 15, and I would love to meet everyone. There'll be food available, drinks, coffee, amazing time. Doors open at 4:30 p.m. Central Time. So again, visit heliona.io to learn more or visit the show notes. And cheers. Scott, before we start talking, I want to say happy early birthday. I know your birthday is next week.
Oh my gosh.
So
how did you know that?
I mean, you did send me an invite one time, so I saved it in my phone.
Oh my gosh.
And I have a list of pretty much everyone who invited me to a birthday. I try to save their
Now, when
birthdays.
Is your birthday?
February 15th.
February 15th,
so
okay.
Yeah, I look forward to my next birthday. I feel like
right
I'm
around
having
Valentine's Day.
Man, like growing up, I never used to enjoy my birthday because that was always like Valentine's Day. Everyone spends everything, and then the 15 comes and people honestly will forget about me because they're like, oh yeah, it's Abraham's birthday, and I'm just like, whatever. So I don't celebrate my birthday until when I got married.
Now, do you like chocolate?
Oh yeah, I just had chocolate last night.
Okay.
I actually went
I
to
didn't
the
know because
store.
you're like, maybe it's because like right before your birthday, you just have a ton of chocolate. I don't want this anymore.
No,
I want
no,
other
chocolate
gifts.
is good for your heart. The 95% cocoa chocolate. I actually eat that a
Ooh,
lot
yeah.
because it's actually good for your heart, and it has a lot of benefits as far as your body.
You go to Trader Joe's.
Oh, really? No, I don't. I think I've been there once about
Yeah.
like 10 years ago when I used to live on Wood Parkway. So
Well, if you're buying it often, but yeah, no Trader Joe's. Good chocolate.
good
My
to
wife's
know.
a huge fan.
All right, shout out to Trader Joe's. I'm definitely gonna stop by there because I know we have one by my house. I just don't go there because
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just
Flowers and chocolate.
Okay, cool.
Very
Good to
affordable.
know. Well, talking of Trader Joe's, I actually heard they have one of the best company culture when it comes to their people. And I read somewhere on like Reddit because I'm always like researching this issue of like a good workplace culture or like like how do companies retain their people. And like Trader Joe's actually when you I read somewhere on Reddit when you go in the employees are trying to get you to get a job there. They have great benefits. They enjoy working there. They're always smiling, which is fascinating to me because I've worked in a grocery shop before, like back in college, and I don't remember much about it. That's how traumatic it was. I didn't enjoy it at all. And to me, the fact that a grocery shop can have such a great culture, why do today so many other companies that are in such a better position don't prioritize that culture? And in your experience, what does that look like?
So I think Trader Joe's, they treat people with respect.
Right.
And so I think oftentimes when you talk to people what your dream job is, they can't be Abraham and an entrepreneur.
Right.
And I know it's really hard with everything you do, but they treat it, I feel like, as a stepping stone to what you eventually want to do. And so at my organization, it's called Hub International. We always tell everyone, no one wakes up one day and goes, my dream job is insurance.
Right.
So I think we understand that. And we understand that it's an opportunity to learn a craft and a niche that affords them income to provide for their family.
Right.
And also we live in Kansas City, so no one moved here for the beachfront property.
Oh, yeah.
And so when we know that people are here for family and to provide, there's a certain level of respect to just say, hey, this isn't the dream job you always thought it would be. And sometimes it is. For me, it is. For a lot of my coworkers is. But it's a way to get to where we need to go.
Right.
And having that honesty.
Yeah.
I always call it the look in the mirror conversation of just being, the people you really love and care about, you can just be brutally honest with.
Right.
No one wakes up one day and says,
Right.
not everyone is like an associate at Trader Joe's or an associate at Hub International where it's their dream job. But if you can have that open dialogue, it really breaks down barriers to improve and to talk about things that we can all do to get better and take care of the people that walk into the store are, for us, the people that are our clients that we serve on a daily basis.
Right. No, yeah, I do like that because, I've talked to so many people in this podcast, like, the trust and honesty piece. Usually it's always a very interesting contrast. Usually it's like, companies will demand the trust and from their employees. They want employees to trust in them, and they want the long term where you stay with us forever, and we want you to stay here. And then in your case, you were talking about let's earn the trust with the employees. Let's make sure that we're creating space for them to see this as like this is something for you to do right now. We don't expect you to stay forever. If you want to stay forever, that's an option for you. But if you don't, you can use this as a stepping stone to the next one. How do you think like companies can get to that position where they can have that balance where, being a tenure employee is not the goal, but being the most effective employee is the goal?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack. So
I know, right? I have a habit of that.
The thing that rings true to me is the reason why people stay is, do they have a friend in the organization that they care about, and are they treated with respect?
Right.
And so you can't always, I think a lot of companies say, hey, we want this to be a family. And some companies are, but families don't fire each other. Families are family forever. And so understanding that balance, and that's back to the open dialogue. For me, I always tell people, run away from anyone that goes, in a networking coffee, I'm unapologetically authentic. Like, thank you for telling me that. Like I didn't, you hope it comes across. And so you can't tell people that, you're authentic. You can't tell them that you're honest. It just has to show up. And pointing out honest statements to people that it wasn't your dream job to do healthcare benefits for X company, or to be at Trader Joe's and to have to deal with the produce section. For some people, I would love to do the produce section at Trader Joe's, and I love doing healthcare benefits, but that's not for everyone. And so when you can let people know that, that's really important. And for us at our company, we always talk about, if things aren't going well at home, it's important to go home and do what you need to do, because if you're not doing great at home and with your family, it's going to be hard to do good at work. And so we recognize, how do you get your energy, what makes you great, and then come to the office and then help us all be great and give that energy out as well.
Yeah. And like, I have two questions, but I want to do my best to, ask them in a way that is not too much, because they're completely different questions.
Just based on what you said. I may not even answer.
My first question is like, what do you say to someone who feel that need to remind people that they're this authentic person, especially at a networking event? And that's my first question. And the second one is, like, I talk to a lot of companies back when I used to do a really heavy work in the mental health space. I notice a lot of companies, I'm not going to name names, so some I've talked to them, they try not to go past the 5 p.m. It's like whatever happens in their time, that's their time. There's no acknowledgement. There's no awareness as to, like, this ex-employee may be dealing with something that's impacting their work in the workplace. But the fact that that is not being acknowledged sometimes is impacting what's happening in the workplace. And to me, I notice a lot of companies don't want to go past that. And you mentioned that acknowledging that, and then, making sure that the employee is okay, and going home and taking care of and even having that conversation. Like, why do you think that's like an important thing? And then also with my previous question about the person who feel like they have to remind people that they're very authentic.
So two questions. So we just had a gentleman that got married at our company. Right before he left, we actually closed 2 deals for him. So we sent him off getting
on his
married.
Behalf?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He kept all the commission for it. And as an organization, he's such a good person that everyone made sure that no one sent him an email, because that's a very special time. Now, outside of that, I talk with a lot of my clients and friends and folks that I advise. In your 20s, your job is to be in the office. No one can be paid what they're worth if someone's not making money. So if you're paid what you're worth, your company can't be making money. And so, but your job is to find opportunities where you can learn and do that. And so what I always tell people is, we'll establish the barriers, but there is employee money and there's leadership money. And if you want leadership money, it's going above and beyond. And if you want employee money, there are barriers. And so that fine line is different in every company and culture. We have a lot of associates that is their sacred time. And there are some associates that say, let me know. And if we have something coming up, feel free to shoot me an email or give me a phone call. It just depends. So it's what's being asked of you and what you are communicating that you want to do. And then in return, there are certain incentives to get there. And so when you are not in the office and you are remote and you have your sacred time, you should not be shocked when someone else doesn't have that, moves ahead of you, because time is always the most sacred thing, and time allows you to get ahead or it allows you to move back. And then on the question of the run, when someone says I'm unapologetically authentic, I run 9 different peer groups. All the groups have been going on for over 5 years. I run 3 speakeasies. I've been doing a weekly podcast now for 5.5 years. And I have a sample size of 12,000 people. And out of 12,000 people, 95% of them are not there to help you. Their job is to show jazz hands, tell you how great they are, how honest and authentic they are, and try to sell you something to get them in that networking moment, to get you to refer them something, which is fine. Those people are our family, our friends, our coworkers, our networking buddies. But if I can encourage people to try to find the matchers or the givers, that 5%, that is the opportunity to grow. Now, givers eventually burn out. They're shooting stars. They come onto the scene and they're in the coffee circuit, and then eventually they burn out because the 95% takes advantage of them. So it's okay if someone's listening to this podcast and we all think that we're the givers and the helpers, and we all think we're hunters of new business. That's normal. But the problem is 95% of people are not.
Right. Wow. That's a very stern reality. I actually had a therapist on a podcast and she told me that 85% of people, and this is based on research of her life. Yeah. She said 85% of people think they're self-aware, but only 15% are. And I'm just like, what? I'm just like the chances of one of us being in that 80% is so high. And then you sharing that status for 90% of people in the room usually are not there for what they think they are. So why do you think that happened? Is it because of a maturity level? Because I know the workplace in general, it's changing drastically. There's, I think, almost 5 different generations today of different individuals that are within one room. Do you think there's a disconnect generationally and the way that we communicate, the way that we expect things from one another? And that's why this is becoming a, not even a bad thing, but just a, an issue within the workplace.
Yeah. Well, back up to the other question is, I'm probably part of the 85% that is not self-aware. I wore this today thinking it probably looked good. So no, I probably not. And then the other thing is it took me, I would say, the hardest thing I've ever done, I'm dyslexic, was graduating college. That was hard. That was not fun. Second hardest thing I did was breaking up with all these people that came to me to find referrals. And I thought I got dopamine. I was excited to introduce people. Then I realized they didn't really like me. They liked the fact that I would help them grow their business. And so I was not self-aware. So I don't think that I came up with that 95% stat out of nowhere. That's just my personal experience. It could be completely wrong. So I don't know about the self-awareness, but the one thing I do have an opinion on the generations in the workforce is that, do you want me to back up here?
Yeah, you can back up real quick. Yeah, there you go. And for the listeners, the light just went out in the room, so we had to just activate it. But go ahead.
So for fun, I've been very, very fortunate to get invited to speak at the University of Kansas for the last 6 years. Was recently ranked by Management 310, the business school class where you have speakers come in and is rated as the #1 speaker. So I was really pumped up about it. I didn't believe the teacher. And she told me, the professor said all the C students voted for me. So I had a good voting block. So I'm glad the A students put their vote. But I would always tell them that I felt very hard for the generation that was affected by the pandemic. And I felt like that was something that no one ever had to go through. And then I talked to a mentor of mine, his name's Steve Johns, and he goes, Scott, I was staying in college to avoid going to the war and getting drafted into Vietnam and dying. So I don't know about these Gen Z. And so I always say it's the second hardest generation I know. So I'm a millennial. I did not go through any of that. But it is clear as day that people in their formative years that were attached to a screen have suffered. With that being said, I love the young Gen Z coming out of college. They are hungry. Some of that time was taken away from them. They like being in the office. Hub International has a ton of young people at our office, and it really, really is projecting them. So it's kind of a tale of two stories with Gen Z. If you were forced for 3 to 4 years to be feeling like you were connected, but you weren't, and those that were starved for connections that are now getting it, I could see Gen Z kind of leapfrogging each other a little bit. The other thing about the millennials is I call it the millennial myth. We had LinkedIn and Facebook that came out right when we got to college, and we felt like we could jump for $10,000. I call it the $5,000, but I'm sure with inflation it's more, but you could jump. And when you drive around neighborhoods of $1 million houses, the only millennials, for the most part, you're going to find there are people that, well, one, they're generationally wealthy and they have other means of income, or they stayed the course. And so my hope with the younger Gen Z is they learn the lessons from millennials of jumping around and try to mimic older generations of really sticking with something and learning and being patient. I see those as the real winners outside of the entrepreneurial class for Gen Z.
Interesting. Yeah. And like one of the other issues that I hear people talk about, especially when it comes to Gen Z and sometimes like millennial, is like, the quiet quitting, and I know, you just mentioned that at Hub, you guys have a lot of, like Gen Zers that are there that are showing up for work. And, I've had a lot of different contrasting views about quiet quitting, sometimes in favor of Gen Z, sometimes not in their favor. And I want to hear from you as someone who's working with the Gen Z community. Like, what are you guys seeing, when it comes to like disengagement or like quiet quitting?
Yeah, I gotta correct, even though we've done the podcast, I want to say the number one reason that people stick at a company is that do they have a friend that they're close with? And number two, do they see a path forward? I said respect, but obviously respect is part of it. And so we are really hypocritical with everyone at our organization. We call it critical path. So it's do they, where are they going? Where do they see themselves going? Do they want to go there? And how do we help them get there? So they know that there's a purpose behind every day, that when they're coming to work, we have a hybrid culture, which is awesome. There's a little plug for Hub International. So it's not always 5 days a week for folks that are a little bit older. But, if you have the ability to see where you're going, you're going to stay there. If you don't see where you're going, sure, you're going to quit. I get it. But learn in your 20s, make a bunch of mistakes, because if you don't, when you have children or you have a mortgage, you're going to be stuck, and it's going to be painful. And then it brings into a lot of other questions. But if you're young and you can learn what you like and you don't like. So sometimes when you have a horrible job, it's a great thing. You learn all the things you didn't like. If you have 2 horrible jobs, that's not fun, but you definitely know what you don't like. And now it's your responsibility to figure out what it is that you do like. What is the opportunity that you do see? So when you are interviewing and they can show you the path of where you want to go, and then you don't take their word for being on, because they come across, they tell you they're authentic. Check your references and find it's 2025. You can find people that work at companies and you can cold call them. You can find ways to connect to them. So verify that upward mobility that they told you about in the interview, verify it. And then if it checks out, jump at it. I actually like that you were giving, individuals agency to actually verify, like an interview, because I feel like a lot of people, or the way that I see it is like, whenever I'm interviewing someone, I'm doing my best to prove that this is a safe space for them to work and have a future, and then they're going to have a paycheck. Like that's literally how I see, I don't see it as like, I am giving you something. It's like, I need you to help me get to the next level, and I need your talent and I need your attention. And to me, I like it when I hear like leaders giving that agency to the people to realize that, okay, you're actually coming into this company, dropping everything, your dreams to come and work for this company. Thank you for that. And come here and help us build something together. Hopefully, you can stay here, but if you don't, there's a path for you to grow as well. And I actually had a conversation with this Gen Zer, and she actually is a listener on the podcast. And I'm not going to name her name because it was like, she was like, I just want to share this. You can talk about it, but don't say my name. I was like, cool. But she shared that, the first day of her, like getting a job, her first ever job, she was excited about it, got into the company, and then sat there, and then they give her all this tasks. She has no training. She has no idea, like, how to even access her email, but they just give her a task. And then they just expected her to keep doing, because she's very talented online. Just figure it out. Yeah, just figured it out. And she was so confused by that, but had no idea how to talk about that. And now she's afraid of even going to like a recruiting company because the company put her into that position. And when she tried to contact the recruiter didn't know what to do. And I know you have some background in like recruiting in general. And I want to know, like, what's the best way for companies to recruit individuals, especially Gen Z, that are coming into the workforce? Well, the young lady needs to realize there are 300, 400 recruiting companies in Kansas City. Go find more of them. So, and when you're interviewing, there's 100 things that have to line up on the employer side, but there's 100 things that have to line up on the person that's interviewing. So it's not just the employer with the power and the situation. It's finding what is actually the perfect match. And
Right.
so when you're about to give part of your life to someone, you should ask any and all questions. When it really comes down to hiring, the employer, we see what we want.
Right.
And that's the chance for the more the other person interviewing pushes back, the more the employer is going to like it, because they are truly understanding what it's going to take to do well in that job. So at Hub International, we acquire 65 to 70 companies annually.
Right.
And what we always say, and we were acquired 2017, 2018, is we want to learn what makes that company great and then bring it to a big organization.
Right.
Same with young people or new hires. We are hiring them not because we have the answers. We want to learn what they have the answers on,
Right.
and how can we make it better. And so maybe that young lady in that onboarding process, it'd be super valuable for her to share that they just set her up with a laptop and told her to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to retain and get more people. I'm sure people have popped on Glassdoor
Right.
and said, hey, they just showed me a laptop. So, for the young lady that got the job there, did she check references? Did she research? Did she ask all the questions she wanted to ask in the interview? But yeah, if anything, people watching this are young Gen Z, have your questions written out for the interview and don't end the conversation until all of them are asked.
Right.
And if they can't answer all those questions, ask for another meeting. They're hiring you. You're giving 40, 50 hours. You're giving part of your life
Right.
to them. You can ask those questions. And honestly, as someone hiring, I want to answer every one of those questions, because the worst thing is when someone starts and it's not what they expected. It's same
Kills
with
the whole thing.
Abraham landing a new deal for your agency or your business.
Right.
If you sign them up and it's not what you said it was going to be, it's a bad relationship.
Absolutely.
And so same with me. I mean, we spend more time telling potential clients why they shouldn't work with us
Right.
than we do why they should work with us. Because once we get hitched, in our industry, it's an 89 to 93% retention rate. You're almost very likely to get divorced than you are to switch your insurance broker.
Right. Wow, that's a pretty high retention on the client side.
Yeah, that's financial advising's up there, payment processing, accounting. So for those of the business nerds out there, reoccurring revenue is a good thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for that. Especially reassuring that confident into them. And I'm glad that you are teaching now at KU Health System. At KU.
Just a speaker, but yeah.
Hey, it's all the same.
I was never allowed in the business school ever.
Right.
Was not allowed in it. Now I get to speak at it. And so
I mean,
I always get a
speaking,
big kick.
teaching. As someone who went to business school, I learned more of what I'm doing today while running a business. I had a bunch of drop shipping stores, and I made so many mistakes. But then in the late stages of my drop shipping, I made so much money that I could never imagine. And then and then got hired by Marvel, even though I had no idea what I was doing. But they saw the results of what I was doing. But I learned everything.
A lot of mistakes in your 20s. A lot of mistakes when you're young.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes. Now, I'm no longer in my 20s. I'm in my mid 30s now. For those wondering,
Same here.
right? For those wondering, but I know you are probably one of the most connected individual in Kansas City when it comes to leaders or decision makers.
Paid a lot of money for Abraham to say that.
and I want to know how do you think, as an exec yourself, how do executives see when it comes to retention? Because I had Ryan here, and I'm not
Ryan Mayberry?
Yeah, no Ryan. I believe his last name is Martin.
Oh yeah,
Ryan Martin. Yeah,
he could be a male model.
Right?
Good-looking guy,
Yeah,
and he's a rock star.
Cool tattoos.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had him here, and we talked about, just as a CFO, how does he see retention, and he was able to outline you can see it in the balance sheet, which I like, because I know a lot of leaders, usually not all of them, obviously, they want to know how much is this going to cost us, and what can we do about it. And I know sometimes leading with the cost is not always the best, but majority of the time it is. And I want to know, as you being an exec and connected with so many exec, what's happening as far as conversation wise when it comes to retaining, the well-being of their people, and especially mental health?
Well, Ryan, I think is super unique, Ryan Martin, because of his ability to see all sides. So Ryan's also dyslexic. And so he just has a really good ability to see the balance sheet and the people.
Right.
So the boardroom to the break room. And so I'll go back to, how do you retain people? Do they have a friend at work, and do they see a critical path moving forward?
Right.
And if that critical path that you come up with together to show them where they want to be, and they hit those metrics, there's incentives.
Right.
And so at our organization, we're very open about all of our finances. So for us to hit of our bonus, we have a certain percentage of organic growth that anyone can be a part of. And so if you retain and you grow the business, you hit your bonus at Christmas time. And so, having that when January 1 starts to the end of the year, you know where you're at. And every week you see those metrics on the TV screens, everyone knows where they stand. And at our organization, the two most important people are the front desk and the most recent hire.
Right.
And so a lot of people, I don't like to talk about culture. Culture is whenever you walk into a business, that's what it is.
Right.
If someone's telling you they're unapologetically authentic and they tell you they got great culture, I'd back up a little bit.
Right.
I think, why are you telling me that? And so when you walk into a business, you're going to feel it. And, shout out to another person I referenced, not Ryan Martin, but Reinhard Mayberry. He's the CEO of Alpha Point. And so it's the largest non-for-profit for the visually impaired. And when you walk into Alpha Point, I mean, they're cracking jokes and everyone knows each other. Now, they may not be able to see you.
Right.
But, but there's a sense of humor about the honesty of why everyone's there and what they're doing. But when you have that honesty and you have that culture, it allows for open dialogue to solve the critical problems for the services we provide to our clients or end users.
Right. No, yeah, I like that. Like, culture is the moment you walk into the door. And I like that you guys gamify the whole experience in your own company where, you get to see a board and then this is something that I want to achieve. Let me work towards that. So I like that.
It's a team.
Yeah. It just gamifies the whole process. As someone as an athlete, I like that. I'm very competitive. So if I was working for you guys, I'd be like, okay, I'm going for the top.
I know we're doing podcasts. You're asking me a question. What sports did you play?
So wait, did you ask for a city or the position?
Whoa, wait. You said you played a lot of sports. You're competitive.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So I played soccer. I played basketball. I played tennis for a little bit.
Wow.
But then I wasn't very much interested. It was just like an extracurricular thing that I had to do. But then I actually came to the US here to play for UMKC. That's one of the reasons why I came here. But then I had other plans.
A lot of people. Why is that not more advertised about Abraham? Gee, yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't get
each other for 5 years. I didn't know
right?
that.
No, yeah, my two boys are the ones that are getting all of my soccer.
And it's Mercy
basketball.
and Caesar, right?
Yeah, Mercy and Caesar, 7 and 4 month old. So I'm trying to I've been living a lot of sports gear around the house and see what they pick. Caesar's too young, but Mercy so far is not interested in anything, but Caesar loves basketball. When I'm bouncing it, he will verbally stop talking and laughing. I'm just all right, I can't wait to be a coach for this guy.
Yeah, that's right.
But Mercy is not interested. He's more academic. He can only read Harry Potter books. He's only 7.
That's amazing.
I know he scored 90%. When it comes to reading. Just for because we're taking him to a private school so he can have more attention. But the kid is very talented. He loves to read. I used to enjoy. I still enjoy it, but now I'm more tired because with the baby. And he's like, "Hey, Dad, are we gonna read?" I was like, "Okay, let's do this."
Oh man, it's hard to open that book up when you're tired.
I know I'm so exhausted, but he wants to read. He loves to read. And I know you're a dad too, and you're involved in so many different activities with your kids. How do you balance that? Because I have a lot of parents that listen to this podcast with kids as well. How do you balance being a full-time parent and being involved in all those different sports and coaching, and also being a full-time worker in different entities, and also having 9 different peer groups? I'm getting excited just talking about it.
The 9 different peer groups are run. 5 of them are CFOs and presidents. And for the most part, most of the peer groups only get together 6 times a year. 3 of them get together 10 times a year.
Right.
And we get together over breakfast or lunch. And then the weekly podcast is 3 p.m. on Tuesdays. It's only 30 minutes.
Today's Tuesday.
And
I look forward to it. I'll be there
Drinks
watching
with
it.
leaders. And the speakeasies that we run and operate, they're autonomous. So people that run companies that are not service providers, not insurance, not banking, not financial advisor, but if they have a company over 57 employees, they can go to the speakeasy, and it has good Wi-Fi. There's an open bar, but there's really no one there. So everything I do kind of runs autonomously, and it's because of my business partner, Melissa Ford. She's from
Melissa.
Clinton, Missouri.
Yeah.
Clinton, Missouri.
Great person.
The nicest, most kindest people I've ever met. I'm so lucky that she's my partner, and then she takes care of our clients 24/7.
Wow.
And then I go out and do business development for it. Because of that, I'm able to coach football, baseball, basketball, soccer, and softball.
That's phenomenal.
So we got a baseball game tonight, and then we got football practice on back up here for the light to go
just
on.
cut out again. We're gonna activate it.
And then we both got to go back.
Yeah.
And so I'm home for pickup, and I can do drop-offs most days to school. And so I had a really good mentor of mine. His name is Terry Dunn, and he talked a lot about if you can have where your children are and where you work close to each other, you can get hours back in your day.
Right.
And so we live really close to a lot of the experiences that we do for our family. Right. And so nothing's more than 7 or 8 minutes away, which allows us more time with our kids.
Wow. Well, you've definitely cracked the code, because I especially whenever we're texting, I was like, you were always talking about your family, your kids, which I love that about you.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No, it's good, because I mean that's me. I'm sending pictures of my kids to clients, and to me, I always find that so fascinating. But then I know you do so many things, but I can see how well you've delegated everything so that you can have that lifestyle and not have work overtake everything where you're not available. I kind of fell into that trap a little bit with Mercy, because I still had so many different dropshipping stores in the early stages. So I wasn't very active or available. But then one day he he was like just making this sound. I was like, well, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, that's daddy noise. Whenever I talk to daddy, he said, I just say, meaning I'm not listening. I was like, oh gosh.
God.
I was like, buddy, I'm so sorry. So I call it daddy
Mercy
noise.
is so smart.
I know, he's very aware.
So smart.
Yeah, so very, very smart kid. So now I'm like very aware, and I like to talk to people that are doing that I see that are doing really well at that.
My wife and I got lucky for the younger. You have a younger listener base. The people that are not married or just married is just make sure you put your phone down or put your laptop down when you see your partner. Right. And when you ask them how their day is, just put it down.
Put it down, yeah.
It's classic 5 to 10 minutes. So, but it's very easy to not do that. I came across as, for some reason, everyone loved giving me advice. Right. They're like, this kid needs it. And so, but I just had it hammered into me. Be present, be present, be present.
Yeah, present.
So I don't think I would have learned that normally, but I think everyone beat it into me. And then I also want to backtrack a little bit, because I didn't have other skill sets other than connecting people. Right. I found a way to meet 5 to 7 people a day for years and years of my life, and including 3 to 4 people on Saturday and Sunday, Panera at 135th and Metcalf, on the weekends before I had kids. Oh, wow. And so, when you're putting in those 70-hour work weeks and it's all meeting people, you're able to meet a lot of people. Yeah, but for me, I didn't have any other value other than my ability to connect to others. And to do that, I had to go meet people. Wow. And so the reason I have the schedule I have today is partially reflected upon the cold calling, the cancellations, the reschedules, and the no-shows of the decade. Yeah. And so a lot of times people that want to go out and meet a lot of people, to do 5 to 7 meetings in one day is just, and to get back to people and make introductions, because you're up at 5 a.m. and then you're still sending introductions at 9 p.m. And so to do that repeatedly allows you the time later in life to focus on what you want to do. And it's a luxury. So I'm not saying, but it's an earned luxury for people to do it. So if people don't have that time to do it, to the younger folks, get it out of the way now.
I hear
so
you.
that you can, when you're our age in your mid 30s, you can have more time with your family.
Well, I think you brought the value of like being present, which is such a huge commodity, which I think people like don't put too much value in it, especially sometimes in the sales world. Because even this morning, I had a sales call with someone who was trying to have me buy something. I actually bought it, but then when I talked to the customer success, the feature that he promised was not available, and then I can tell he wanted me to just close it because he offered a discount because it's like the end of the quarter, and he's like, if you sign today, and I'm like, I fell into that trap, but the guy was so good at what he does, but then I'm just like, I can tell he wasn't very much present. He just wanted to get it done. And then I tried to email him. He's just not responding. And before the sale, he was responding so fast. So again, thank you for like being, offering that value of being present, being here with someone, and being available, being present with every fiber of your being. So, all right, this will be the last time I'm going to interrupt your listening experience, but I just want to say this. You know how you finish an episode and you wish you could be in the same room for the conversation? Well, on October 15, you actually can. Workplace Unfiltered, a Heliona experience, is your chance to be part of it all. Live at the Abbott in Kansas City. RSVP at heliona.io before spots run out. That's Heliona as in HELIONA, and I'll see you there. I've come to the end of the conversation. We have a tradition here, and I want to hear your take because I'm very fascinated by that. After everything that we've talked about, from the moment you walked in here up till now, like, how is your spirit right now?
That's the tradition here, is how's your spirit?
Simple.
I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy to know that Mercy and Caesar are doing really, really well. I love that your drop shipping business has propelled you to do so many different things. Indeed. I'm excited for our relationship to continue. I love your pleasant following up and your ability to connect with others.
Thank you.
And we talked a little bit about, we're talking about our mutual friend Zeke, and your ability to deliver things is always a special gift of things. So from a spirit vibe, I don't know, I'm present being with you. So I don't really have one in particular, but again, I'm so jaded by the amount of coffees of like the unapology, authentic. I only do deals with people that, everyone volunteers and everyone coaches their teams and everyone goes to church. So everyone's the same. And so for me, I am more guarded in terms of what my energy is. I don't really listen to what people tell me. I digest it. And then I observe them in the business community, because Kansas City is a small town, and you can just watch. Do they do what they say they're going to do?
Absolutely.
And if they do what they say they're going to do, you meet with them again. Right.
Well, for those listening, please don't call Scott and tell him you are very, unapologetic.
I don't care. I mean, just going to scare me. That's a red flag. I'm going to scare me. I'm like, why are you telling me this? What are you hiding? What's going on?
Like, who are you?
Yeah, they're gonna close you in a transaction just like they did.
Like today, I'm it's actually on my to-do list to make sure that I was gonna do a TikTok video. That's how annoyed I was, because I'm saying, why is he not responding? He literally will respond within seconds.
If it's in your heart, do the video.
So I may do a video, and when I do it, I will send it to you.
So old man, not on Instagram, not on TikTok.
Worries. No, I'm gonna download it and send it to you over text so you can see.
You had your Steve Jobs logo on your phone, and so obviously he pioneered keeping things simple.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm curious for you, and obviously I get that you run an agency, and so there's a lot of things you have to do.
Right.
But if you could pick only 2 social media platforms to be on, what social media platforms would be on?
It will be LinkedIn, number one. And the second one will be probably Instagram, because I have pretty much friends all over the world that I played soccer with that I still talk to. We have a little group there where we just stayed in touch.
Love it.
So I think right now, those are the only 2 places I'm on. The other place is just distraction. I'm just there not doing anything, just scrolling whenever I'm bored. So, but LinkedIn is where I'm very intentional. Every post that I do it has a meaning. There's a reason behind it.
Oh, I follow you. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But again, thank you so much for being here today. This has been fun. And I hope you can make October 15 event happen, because I think it's going to be very interesting. This year is a lot more intentional. And I'm going to remind myself to talk more about this event on the podcast, because I always forget.
Yeah, you got to be there. 4:30 p.m.
Right. Hopefully you can make it.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you.